Mm-hmm. 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 I'm tired of the lies they spin. They're feeding us poison, where do I begin? Every headline feels like a sin. Oh, it's a game we're stuck in, can't win. Barack signed the papers, gave them the key. NDAA took our truth, can't you see? Smith mind shadow, it's haunting me. Propaganda flows like a dark raging sea. They twist the words, make us blind. Realities are lost in their cruel grind. Who's telling the truth? Man, it's hard to find. In this media maze, we're all confined. We're rising up, can't take no more. Truth on our lips, it's time to roar. No more shadows, we'll break free. With every heartbeat, we'll make them see. Together we'll stand united and bold. No more lies, let the story be told. In this fight for truth, we'll find our way. We'll light the dark, bring a brand new day. I'm screaming loud, but no one hears. Drowning in cycles of our own fears. The truth's a ghost, shedding bitter tears. Oh, the anger rises, it's been years. So I'll sing my blues, let the world know. Fight for the truth, let the fire grow. We're breaking the chains, it's time to show. We won't be silenced, we'll steal the show. In the silence, hear the cries, voices echo, breaking tide. Every tear, a story untold. In the ashes, we rise bold. No more whispers, we shout loud. Together strong, we're a fierce crowd. With every step, we take the stand, fighting for truth. Hand in hand, let the walls shake, let the truth ring. We'll write the lyrics, let freedom sing. From the shadows, we'll break away. In this moment, we'll seize the day. We're rising up, can't take no more. Truth on our lips, it's time to roar. No more shadows, we'll break free. With every heartbeat, we'll make them see. Together we'll stand, united and bold. No more lies, let the story be told. In this fight for truth, we'll find our way. We'll light the dark, bring a brand new day.
Sun's peeking over the mountain line. Coffee's hot and I'm feeling fine. Walking through rows that are grown with care. Sweet little flowers perfume the air. 8 years tending this patch of green. Medicine's the way I've always seen. No hurry, no race, no nose at parade. Just another good day that Bubba made. Slow your roll, take a breath. Life ain't always gotta run at full speed. Bubba sets the tone today. Everything just melts away. Coffee, sunshine, cedar trees, mountain air and easy breeze. Smiling while I'm walking around. Got my feet up on the ground. If life gets loud, I simply say, Bubba sets the tone today. Bubba sets the tone today. Hey! These ain't trophies sitting on a shelf. This is medicine to help myself. Tiny crystals, orange hairs. Nature put a little kindness there. One good flower can change the pace. Put a smile right back on your face. Ain't about escaping where I've been. It's about feeling whole again. Turn the worries down, turn the music up, sit a spell, fill your cup. Sometimes healing looks a whole lot like a peaceful afternoon. Bubba sets the tone today, chasing heavy thoughts away. Fields are green and skies are blue. Simple things will see you through. No big speech and no campaign, just a little sunshine after rain. From the porch you'll hear me say, Bubba sets the tone today. Bubba sets the tone today.
Well, grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, plant another mustard seed. Let's see what grows. Coffee's on, the day's begun. Somebody says, what if, just for fun. One talks history, one talks grace. One says, slow down, let's find our place. Round and round the stories roll. Every heart, every soul. Laugh a little, shake your head. Half the things we've heard ain't dead. Questions fly, but no one's afraid. Truth gets brighter in the shade. One more seed, one more friend. That's where all the good things begin. Hey, hey! Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Plant another mustard seed. Watch what faith can be. Laugh together, learn together. Love's our melody. Everybody's family. The co-op of insanity. Yeah. Hey. Some found hope where dreams had died. Some found peace they couldn't hide. Some found Jesus strong and true. Some found friends to see them through. World gets noisy, world gets strange. Seems like everything can change. But around this table, hand in hand, we keep building what will stand. Shoulder strong when life gets rough. Love reminds us we're enough. One more prayer, one more smile, makes the journey worth the while. Hey! Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Plant another mustard seed. Watch what faith can be. Laugh together, learn together. Love's our melody. Everybody's family. The co-op of insanity. We don't have to know it all. Sometimes faith's a simple call. Lift somebody when they're low. Share the light you've come to know. Every answer starts with one. Another day beneath the sun. Truth may stretch us, make us see. That's how hearts are set free. never know what tomorrow brings. Plant another seed. Love can grow the smallest things. Plant another seed. Hey. Plant another seed. Hey. Plant another seed. Oh, love can grow the smallest things. Hey. Hey. Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Every heart's a mustard seed, growing like a family. Love together, grow together, that's our harmony. Thank the Lord for bringing us this crazy little family. Welcome to the co-op, where the laughter never ends. Welcome to the co-op, where strangers all become friends. One more story, one more smile, one more melody. Welcome to the co-op of insanity. Keep planting those mustard seeds. We'll save you a chair. We'll save you a chair.
The Bible has a message for the man who didn't quit when the enemy had him surrounded. First of all, man to man, I just want to tell you that I'm proud of you, brother, because I've been there. I know what it's like to be pressed on every single side and still standing tall no matter what. But it's not by accident. Check out what the Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8. We are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Struck down, but not destroyed. We are hard pressed on every side. We were pressured, yet not crushed. We did not collapse. We didn't die. It says right here, we are perplexed, confused about what's going on. I don't know what's happening. My life is in shambles, but not in despair. Never lost hope. It says we're persecuted. People talking crazy about us, but never forsaken. God never forgot about us, no matter what people had to say. It says we were struck down. Yeah, we got hit. We fell to the ground. We lost a couple fights, but not destroyed. Didn't die. Got back up. We rose 7 times. I lost a couple fights, bro, but I'm still here. My back was against the wall. Now I'm moving forward. The Bible doesn't say that strong men don't get hit, that men of faith don't get hit. We gonna get smacked. We're going to lose some battles. But guess what? We don't stay down, because we remember we are hard pressed on every side, yet not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. We are persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed. That's a promise. When I would watch the TV series on Netflix about the Vikings, it would always intrigue me about how they made their swords. They'd take them and put them in a fire. And after lighting it on fire, they take a hammer and start hitting at it. In order to make the sharpest swords, it gotta get on fire first, and then you need a hammer in order to shape it, bro. That's what it takes. So we got to embrace that, because that's what's going to make us sharp on the other side. Dangerous. And I just want to remind you, brother, that we got here because of faith and discipline. So don't compromise what you're building right now. Stay locked in. If you stop smoking alcohol, if you stop the weed, if you stop the porn, if you started going to the gym, if you started losing weight, if you started like lifting and getting big, stick to it. It only gets better from here. It only gets better. And remember that just because we won the battle, the war is not over. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 reminds us, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Resist him, steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same sufferings are experienced by your brotherhood in the world. Stay disciplined, stay faithful, bro. Share this with a brother who needs it. And if you need accountability, you can join 33,000 men who are reading their Bibles every single day for the next 31 days. Just comment the word challenge below.
There you go. Challenge accepted, because
The Bible has a
I read
message.
my Bible every day. Yeah. Nancy Pelosi won't even get out of the car. I wonder why.
I was going to ask Nancy Pelosi some questions about January 6th, but it appears she's driving off now. She's not coming to her own press conference because I'm here. Very interesting, because she was about to walk out of the car, and then Ian over there saw me and immediately blocked the car, sent the guards over, and instructed her not to get out. Hi, everyone. Allison Steinberg here with Lindell TV. We are outside of the Capitol waiting for Democrat leadership, including Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, to come hold a press conference about health care reforms. Of course, everything's all Trump's fault. They want to extend Obamacare. You know the drill. But we're not here to talk about health care. We are here to ask Congresswoman Pelosi questions about January 6th, because she still refuses to answer the many questions I've asked her previously. So let's see if we can track her down today. I was going to ask Nancy Pelosi some questions about January 6th, but it appears she's driving off now. She's not coming to her own press conference because I'm here.
12 o'clock flight from Dulles, so she got to make that.
Oh,
So
is that
sorry.
what it is?
Yeah,
Very
sorry.
convenient timing. Okay.
Ian, good to meet
Allison,
you.
great to meet you
I've seen
too.
you a lot. Just wanted to introduce myself.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Got to make the flight from Dulles.
Okay. There you have it. She's got a flight to catch, so she will not be attending this press conference. Very interesting, because she was about to walk out of the car, and then Ian over there saw me and immediately blocked the car, sent the guards over, and instructed her not to get out. So that's where we are, guys. Just wanted to give you a little update live from the Capitol.
Yeah. You little terrorist. You're being a terrorist today. Yeah. Are you going outside? Well, okay. Very good. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Mama. You're okay. No, she's gonna come back. She's coming. She's coming back. She came back. She came back. I'm telling you. Come here. No, scout out. Scout out. Go on. You're a beautiful dog. I love you, buddy, but out. You're too big. Come here, little one. Come here, little one. Come here. Come here, you little terrorist. Yep, come here. Because you got to say hi to everybody. Yep, got to say hi to everybody. Say hi, everybody. Yep. Yep. You got to be in charge, huh? Is that what's going on today? You got to be in charge. Yeah. 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 I got a show to do. And it's not going to happen this way. Yeah. 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 I'm telling you. Scout out. Oh, boys. All right. Okay. Yeah. Again. Yeah. Okay. Down you go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go outside. Come on. Let's go. Scout out. Go ahead, Esau. Go ahead. Go on. Scout out. Scout. Get out. Now. Go. No. Get out. No. No. Go. Go on. Go on. All you boys, watch your head. Closing the door. Thank you. Mom, don't open it again unless you're going out. All right. Thank you. All right. Where was I? Yeah. See, it's, yeah. Good thing is the rest of them didn't follow him in. or else I'd have been in trouble. Yeah. Okay, let's jump over to this side. So some hearings going on yesterday. I got to try and jam as much in over the next hour and 40 that I possibly can. So let's just go ahead and jump to this RNC research. Only one Democrat senator showed up to a Senate hearing on exposing fraud in America. Kind of interesting.
Senator Scott.
Chairman, wouldn't a Democrat go next since the Republican just testified?
If there were a Democrat here, yes.
So there's no Democrats present at a hearing about fraud.
There doesn't appear to be a great deal of interest across the aisle.
Yeah. So, yeah. Just kind of funny how that happens. And then illegitimate Senator John Ossoff, Democrat, Georgia, is entering panic mode right now at Trump DNI nominee Jay Clayton, frantically asking about the FBI raid on Fulton County 2020 elections. Is kind of interesting.
That Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid in Georgia earlier this year?
You discussed that with me yesterday in your office.
Are you aware that Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid earlier this year?
You brought it to me, my attention.
What is going on here? You've said at the beginning of this, you have an obligation to be honest and forthright with the committee. I'm asking a very simple question. Are you aware that Director Gabbard was present at the Fulton County raid earlier this year? Yes or no? Are you aware?
I was.
You won't answer that question either.
I just said I was made aware of it by you yesterday.
The first time you learned that Director Gabbard was present at that raid was in my office yesterday?
It was the first time that in my recollection, I've thought about it recently. Now, was I aware of it before?
What?
You brought it to my attention yesterday.
Okay.
I had not.
So you had not known.
I had not thought about it until you brought it to my attention yesterday.
Your answers lack credibility. Your testimony lacks credibility. You're being evasive and you're not being candid or forthright. And everybody across the country is going to watch this and know that. Are you aware that former Director Gabbard testified that her presence at the raid was, quote, requested by the president?
I'm not aware of that until now.
Okay, you are now aware of that.
Yeah.
Are you aware that members of this committee are already probing Director Gabbard's potential misconduct in this matter?
No, I don't. I'm not privy to your probe into.
Are you aware that Director Gabbard
privy to your probes? Jay Clayton. This is going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And the other one that was pretty interesting was Blanche's nomination to take over the DOJ. And Senator Kennedy, he always hits it out of the park, doesn't he?
Now, Mayor Lori Lightfoot sent the world a letter suggesting that we should not confirm you as Attorney General. Who is Mayor Lori Lightfoot, just for the record?
So she's the former mayor of Chicago. I believe she had a brief stint in the Department of Justice prior to her political life.
Right. And you had some conflicts with her.
I do not believe she supports our administrator's efforts making America safe again.
Okay, right. She thinks cops are a bigger problem than criminals. Would that be a fair assessment?
She definitely, her public rhetoric is not something that either myself or this administration supports, which is to always back our law enforcement.
She thinks if a cop shoots a criminal, it's automatically the cop's fault. But if a criminal shoots a cop, it's automatically the gun's fault. Would that be a fair assessment of the mayor's position?
Her public statements suggest that.
Okay. Would you put her even in charge of a ham sandwich?
I don't believe she should be any part of this administration.
Well, the people in Chicago apparently agreed. I think she She ran for re-election and got 16% of the vote. Is that right? Do you recall?
I'm not sure what percentage she got, Senator.
Okay.
Oh, a ham sandwich. Always got to bring lunch into the middle of it. And then this kind of interesting. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates is in serious trouble this time, and some people think he's ready to run. First, Warren Buffett cut the ties with the Gates Foundation. That's a big deal because the two billionaires have been friends for decades. Now, some people think this is a result of what Bill has admitted about his connection to Epstein. Others believe it's only the tip of the iceberg that can sink Bill Gates any day now.
So Bill Gates has run away in a manner of speaking. He put his house on the market. He canceled several gigs. He had confessed to sleeping with some Russian women. In all of my years of working with trafficked kids and working with, victims of trauma and doing pastoral care, usually when the truth starts coming out, it's way worse than what we think or what is initially said. So I think his behavior is very telling of probably all that is going to come out about him and his dealings with Epstein. I think there is a lot more than we know, and that is usually the case for that. My prayer is justice for the victims, always.
Yeah. Interesting. And then Pete Hegseth yesterday, this came out, I think it was yesterday, early afternoon.
At the Department of War, we have the most elite warriors on the face of the earth. Every single day, you are pushed to your absolute physical and mental limits to master the profession of arms. We demand your all, and you give it. But while we invest heavily in our weapon systems, platforms, and gear, our most decisive tactical advantage will always be the individual warfighter. We have a sacred duty to maintain that advantage, which is why we must constantly look for new ways to optimize your performance, your resilience, and your long-term health. And to meet that commitment today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency for our service members, ensuring you have the right testosterone levels to operate at your absolute best. Because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop. Under the supervision of our world-class medical professionals, warfighters age 30 and older are going to be tested annually as part of their periodic health assessment. It's a health assessment that happens every year. We're just adding this test. Those under 30 can voluntarily choose to get the test as well. If treatment is recommended, it's entirely your choice to receive testosterone replacement therapy. This initiative, it's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities, protecting your longevity, and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight. We owe our warriors the absolute best medical care in the world, and this program delivers on that obligation. Taking care of your long-term health means ensuring you remain strong, resilient, and capable, not just for your next deployment, but for the rest of your life, so you can thrive long after you take off the uniform. As we know, the modern battlefield is brutal and unrelenting. It requires and demands maximum psychological and mental readiness. And by addressing these health markers early, we're keeping you on the leading edge of lethality and giving you the same level of support that you give this nation, the absolute best. Godspeed, keep going, and God bless.
All right, Secretary Hegseth. Hey, I'm moving along. We're just going to keep them flying because I'm crushed on time today. So, Illinois no cash bail law backfired.
Turning now to our morning Newsmax crime report, one of the major problems we often highlight in Chicago stems from a decision by Democrat lawmakers to eliminate cash bail. Offenders are released almost immediately after arrest, and many of them then go on to commit additional crimes. And now we have got a very interesting example of the problem. This one with a little twist that the Illinois governor probably didn't see coming. Crime correspondent Jason Matera is here with details. Jason?
Yeah, ED Seal J.B. Pritzker called his criminal justice reform the Safety Act, but an incident close to home may have given the governor a small taste of just how little safety his legislation provides.
Look in your own damn backyard, Governor. Look in your own backyard.
John Cabello is telling Pritzker to look in his own backyard because that's exactly where Dwayne Milton was found on July 4th. Authorities say Milton jumped the governor's fence shortly after 10 p.m. and wandered around the property until Pritzker's security detail apprehended him.
And the only reason why that happened is because the governor has security 24/7 in all of the places that he lives. So if this was your backyard, the police would have not found this person. What would have happened?
And that question becomes even more important as Milton's criminal history is now coming to light. He's yet another Chicago man with more mugshots than fingers and was currently out on pretrial release for a slew of retail thefts. Police records show the longtime felon was arrested 3 times between April and May, only to be let go each time. Remember, no more bail in the state of Illinois. After his arrest in May, a Cook County judge reportedly placed Milton on electronic monitoring and limited his movement. But shocker, the guy whose rap sheet began in 1998 violated the judge's orders, which triggered an arrest warrant. Milton wasn't found until Independence Day, when he was strolling around the governor's Chicago mansion. To Illinois Sheriff Jeff Bower, this is another reminder that electronic monitoring is useless and no substitute for keeping repeat offenders behind bars.
There are simple truths in life and in the criminal justice system that I believe policymakers in Illinois want to avoid. And one of these simple truths happen to be that people who are in jail or prison cannot harm people outside of jail or prison.
And Dwayne Milton is now back in prison. He pleaded guilty to felony theft stemming from his May arrest and was sentenced to 1 year. But under Illinois law, he could be back out in just 6 months, giving Governor Pritzker yet another chance to see his criminal justice reforms in action. Edie?
Wow. Thank you very much. Great report.
Information.
Yeah, Newsmax. Interesting, Pritzker. Interesting. All right. So continuing saga about the Epstein Zorro Ranch. Zorro Ranch. That's what it is. Catherine Herridge, the pen.
There's another document in the Epstein.
Remember, we were told to follow the pen. Remember that? Follow the pen. Matter of fact, let's go over here for a minute. 3437. So, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. These two guys. Snoop, Jesse Jackson. What happens when the controlled are told to create a new false racist narrative, disinformation campaign? Do the sheep follow? Think for yourself. See truth. Cute. Yeah. So, and then we got, they want you divided by race, divided by religion, divided by culture, divided by class, divided by political affiliation, divided you are weak, together you are strong, we, the people. Where we go one, we go all. And then there's a Twitter link here. Let's see, does it take us somewhere? Wow. Let's see.
This is a president who has openly violated the very value our country aspires to uphold. Equality under the law, religious liberty, equal protection, and protection from persecution. And to distract from that, he's launching a blatantly racist attack on 4 duly elected members of the United States of House of Representatives, all of whom are women of color.
So this is from July 15th of 2019.
This is the agenda of white nationalists. Whether it is happening in chat rooms or it's happening on national TV, and now it's reached the White House garden. He would love nothing more than to divide our country based on race, religion, gender, orientation, or immigration status. Because this is the only way he knows he can prevent the solidarity of us working together across all of our differences. The only way to prevent us confronting the problems our country is facing, whether it is healthcare, climate change, student debt, or our endless wars.
You know, these aren't her
This
words.
is his plan to pit us against one another.
You know, these aren't her words. This was written for her, and she just happens to.
This is a president who has openly violated.
She absolutely believes it, but that wasn't. That was. Yeah, so that was all the way back from July 15th, 16th of 2019. Divine projection. You know, yeah, Charlottesville, right? And all that. All right, but let's, I wanted to look for follow the pen. With a direct link to who? Catherine Herridge. Follow the pen. Internal email obtained CBS News. Former acting Undersecretary of Intelligence and Analysis Brian Murphy wrote colleagues on July 25th that the Portland violence was not opportunistic but organized. Yeah. So, so as we go into this, you understand who this woman is. So let's go here.
There's another document in the Epstein files, and it relates to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. There are allegations that young girls were in fact buried on one of his properties, or even lists of videos. Could that be investigated at this stage?
That could absolutely be investigated. There is no statute of limitations on that. And then also, if they have testimony or some type of witness saying that that is where they were killed, they can then go out and do a search and potentially find a body. It's going to be difficult years later to prove something like sexual assault, but if you can find the evidence that somebody was killed, that's totally different. And again, there's no statute of limitations. But see, this is also, Catherine, why you don't just say, oh, that crime that person committed is dropped off. We're not going to investigate that any further, because you never know who these loop back around to. Because if this was a society of people abusing women, then, and some of them died, you really don't know who was connected to them. So that's, and who has knowledge of that. So that's why you would continue to look into all these different subjects.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is that you want to run down all of these leads, even if the statute of limitations has expired on a particular crime, because it will help you understand the community of individuals and whether there was in fact a conspiracy, and it's an ongoing conspiracy. This email with allegations that young girls were murdered and buried on Epstein's property, does that look like blackmail to you?
It looks like it could be any of several things. It could be blackmail. It could also be that somebody had some type of information and they wanted to make it known somewhere along the way that they had nothing to do with that. We've seen that in other cases where they send an email to somebody just so it can be known that we know that this occurred, but we didn't have anything to do with it. So there's different ways. I don't think there's enough evidence at this point for me to say blackmail or not, but is there a possibility? Of course, there's the possibility.
So now that's one. Okay, and then this was later. Epstein's Zorro Ranch in response to Mazi Hirono questions. Todd Blanchett testified DOJ will support the investigation of Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. Before the hearing, per Reuters, which is a bullshit fucking organization. It's a fucked up news organization, no different than most of them. New Mexico says U.S. Justice Department hindering probe of former Epstein Ranch. We did a deep dive on the Epstein files and alleged burial of victims at the New Mexico Ranch. A veteran FBI investigator said there is no statute of limitations on that. Now, that's the key statement is there's no statute of limitation. Now, if I'm not mistaken, didn't somebody just buy Zorro Ranch and there was a big thing about government people, and if I'm not mistaken, it was a Texas what is it? A Texas politician, I think it was, bought the place, and then refused to access or something to the ranch in order for them to look for any possibility of grave sites, because there were people who had cadaver dogs and ground penetrating radar that wanted to go onto the land and find any by a Texas billionaire. Okay, it was. Let's see. Let's see. Who? Actually, let's go here. Let's go here, and we'll just ask Grok, because Grok will know. Oh, that's not the one. Grok. That's the one. That one right there. Grok, just a quick question for you. Who was the individual who purchased the Zorro Ranch in New Mexico?
The Huffines family, specifically Don Huffines and his family members, like his wife Mary Catherine and son Colin. They bought Zorro Ranch, formerly owned by Jeffrey Epstein, in 2023 through San Rafael Ranch LLC for an undisclosed amount at auction. The proceeds went to Epstein's estate and benefited his victims. It's now called San Rafael Ranch, and they're turning it into a Christian retreat. That was the big reveal in early 2026 from public records. Anything else on this?
No, that was it. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Glad I could help. Have a great one.
Okay, so it was a Huffine, and I don't remember what the relationship was with him. There was a relationship between him and for some reason my brain keeps going to Lutnick, the one of the cabinet members, Lutnick. There was an association, if I'm not mistaken, that they knew each other or something in regards to that. All right. Yeah. I think it was Lutnick who it said. I'll have to go back through show notes and see if I can find where we talked about it, because I know we showed a bunch of videos and there were a bunch of people that were in regards to the trafficking, because they believed that it wasn't just young women there, that there were children there that had been killed there, or at least buried there. I'll have to go through. It's I know we we talked about it at length for a couple of different days. Sadeghi Mahdi Mohammed Sadeghi, an Iranian with U.S. citizenship who was found guilty of illegally exporting electronics to Iran, violating U.S. sanctions. These components were used by Iran to make military drones. The same ones were used to kill multiple U.S. service members in 2024. Why didn't you give more context to this? I promise I am a really good immigrant, not the evil trader. Immediately exposes evil trader every time. Yeah, so 18 USC 230 or 2381, treason. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death, or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title, but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Yeah. So he was found guilty. He was found guilty. He was found guilty. And guess who else is guilty? American husband is begging for help for his Canadian wife, who was arrested and detained by ICE after assaulting a teenager in New Jersey for wearing patriotic Trump and ICE apparel. Caitlin Tracy allegedly recorded herself confronting a group of 4 girls on the New Jersey beaches boardwalk when she became violent. Matthew Garoni, who claims to be her husband and is a left-wing troll, says he doesn't care what people think of him, but he wants to get his wife released. She has been charged with endangering the welfare of a child, simple assault, harassment, and obstruction. He even created a GoFundMe to help cover her legal expenses, but he was forced to take it down after MAGA supporters reported it. Tracy, who entered the U.S. in 2024 using her passport, had been living in Asbury Park. The entire incident was captured on surveillance video before Tracy left the scene. She was later identified and arrested. So we're going to go through a couple of different videos on this today. Yes, we are. We are. Here we go. So there's talking.
I need help. I don't know what to do. My wife is being detained by ICE. She's in Ocean County Jail right now, and I can't get a hold of her. She keeps trying to call me, but they won't let me put money on her card. The kiosk in the Toms River jail is broken, and all the numbers and stuff they gave me wasn't right or wouldn't allow me to put money on her card. And ICE is coming there to pick her up. I need an immigration lawyer. I need help. I don't know what to do. I don't have any money. I'm so fucking broke. But I gotta figure something out. I gotta save her. I need help. I need you to figure out. I don't know. This just happened. I need help. I need my wife. I don't want her to get hurt. I don't want to see her get. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yesterday, July 13th, my wife was detained by ICE and brought to Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey. This is my attempt to reach out to any news outlets, especially local ones to New Jersey, like News 12 New Jersey or NJ.com, or any journalists or reporters that are local that want to hear our story.
Okay, so we're going to go from here to here to here. Let's see. I believe that there are. So here's her video of her just walking up to this girl and yeah. I think that there's a Let's see. Do. Oh yeah, you were determined to come in and open the door for the rest of the dogs. Yeah. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back with you. Hi. My Trouble. That's what I should have named you. I should have named you Trouble. Yeah. Yeah, that would have been much better. Yeah. Okay. So here we go.
We make a video. We've been focused. Hello, it's Kate. I'm Grabmaster Hash's wife. I'm here to talk about this comment by Susie. I wanted to say hi. Hope everything's good in Toronto. So yes, as everyone has noticed, we are back in Jersey. We've been here for about 2 months trying to get our lives back together, trying to get jobs, trying to get a house. We have yet to get either one. Yeah, we've been focusing on trying to get our lives together, which leads me to the point of why is it taking so long for us to make a video to tell you what had happened.
Yeah, a lot of drama. Lots of drama, but we'll cover a little bit more of that as we go along. Let's see. Give me a second. Let's see. So what I want to do is I just want to go ahead and jump up to the other video I have of so this was put out by Homeland Security. Caitlin Tracy is a criminally illegal alien from Canada who was charged with simple assault, neglect of a child, compounding crime, and harassing communication. She allegedly struck a teenage girl wearing a pro-Trump memorabilia on a boardwalk in Point Pleasant Beach during the 4th of July weekend. She was arrested by the Point Pleasant Beach Police Department, who facilitated a controlled transfer into ICE custody, where she will remain pending her immigration proceedings. She entered the United States on April 14th of 2024 on a visa set to expire on September 6th of 2024. In violation of our nation's laws, she overstayed her visa and failed to depart. So there was that. And then, let's see. Did I save it? I thought I saved it. Here we go.
Officers say Caitlin Tracy of Allenhurst started yelling at the girl because of what she was wearing. She was wearing patriotic colored sweatpants with political wording. Officials say a video captured the incident showing her hitting the girl twice. Officers say Caitlin.
Yeah, twice. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So she's getting deported, and he's freaking out about it. And I guess I didn't save the video because he was a little whack. Actually, let's go ahead and jump up there. Here we go.
Guess who's back? Back again.
Would you ever run?
100%.
Would you have fun?
Never.
What would you suggest that we need to do as a country to move forward as a group?
Get in the streets.
Get in the streets. Hunter's running, and he's running to save his party from the commies. The Atlantic says the Democrats need a new campaign strategy, and they want masculinity. We know Hunter's straight. We've seen the evidence, and he's out for blood.
I would tell him to go his self. That's what I would tell him. And please leave. The that he says about my dad, his obsession with tormenting my dad, hanging a picture of an auto pen on the colonnade, demeaning him, and all the things that he said about him. And anyone would expect me to do anything outside of which I would never do is physical violence against that person. Well, what kind of man would I be if I didn't tell him to go himself?
This is something straight out of a Greek tragedy. Both Bidens are now back for revenge. The big guy slowly creeping back into the Beltway.
Since I left the presidency, I've had a lot of people ask me, Joe, what have you been doing? I've been spending a lot of time with my family. I'm dealing with a cancer diagnosis, and I've been getting treatment, and it's been going really well. I've written a book about my time as president. It's called Promise Me America.
The book's coming out after the midterms. Joe knows the commies are going to blow it for the Democrats, and he's going to say, see, I told you so. I united both factions of the party, but you got rid of me, and all hell broke loose. But the Clintons say Sleepy's stepped in it.
The reason the Democratic Party is in the shape it is because Joe Biden wouldn't get out until July the 21st of the election year. All right. Had Joe Biden gotten out in October of 2023, we would have a Democratic president. Don't kid yourself.
As Reverend Wright said, the chickens have come home to roost. The commies are here to cleanse the Democrat Party so someone like Joe can never again be shoved down anyone's throats.
How many Democrats didn't want Joe Biden to run again in 2024, and yet the institution boxed out pushback or a primary process in order to force that through? DSA is such an antidote to that.
After the commies blow up the Democratic Party, they're going to blow up the country. They held a secret call last night where they rattled off their little manifesto, and it is crazy town. Play the tape.
So whenever people are like, oh my God, they want to get rid of the president, I was like, well, I don't know what we would call it in the future. We could call it the head honcho of whatever.
It sounds so radical, like abolish the Senate, abolish the Supreme Court, like et cetera, but it's not like those are the things that need to happen in order to have a political system that actually like works for working people.
For America 250, these communists want to get rid of the presidency, the Senate, and the Supreme Court. How would we govern ourselves? We wouldn't. They want amnesty for all immigrants. No border, no deportations. Medicare for all, no cash bail. Defund the Pentagon. The Green New Dealio. Universal rent control. A wealth tax. A 32-hour work week. And no pay cuts. And capitalism, that's gone.
What would it be like to live in a world without capitalism, to live in a world where you can take a day off from work, but you don't hate your job? And you don't have to have a job just to pay the bills because you don't have a lot of bills, right? Bills are no longer a thing because there's not for-profit businesses that are constantly trying to exploit you and trying to, put you into debt.
I had to stop that because I felt stupider. Okay, I was feeling stupider. I'm just saying. There's not enough pot for this. It's really not. Yesterday, Chuck Schumer.
With Trump's voter suppression SAVE Act. Republicans should know by now that it ain't going to fly with us, with the courts, or with the American people. I'll say it as many times as it takes. The SAVE Act is dead on arrival here in the Senate. I don't care how Republicans try to package their plan to resurrect the old ghost of Jim Crow, we will kill it. Trump's blatant effort to strip Americans of their voting rights is withering in the courts, too. Yesterday, just...
Yeah. What was it? Did I just see what I thought? Twat waffles. Yes. Absolutely. 100%. Twat waffles. That's New York's twat waffle right there. Yeah. Straight out of New York City. Yeah. Twat waffle number 1. Maybe number 2. Texas mayor got arrested on 5 felony charges: illegal voting, tampering with government records, and fraud. Yep. Texas mayor. I'm not going to go into that because we'll be there all day long. QAG News. Huntsville, Georgia. A former Georgia Housing Authority executive director and a Savannah man have been indicted on federal fraud charges stemming from what prosecutors say is a years-long scheme that allegedly cost a public housing agency more than $2.5 million. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Georgia, Melanie S. Thompson, 55, of Savannah, is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 19 counts of wire fraud, and 2 counts of making false, fictitious, or fraudulent claims. Toriano L. Bird, 52, of Savannah, is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Yep, there you go. Coming at them for every direction that they possibly can. All right. Former Federal Reserve advisor sentenced to 34 months in prison after lying about sharing restricted information with suspected Chinese intelligence operatives. It's going to be interesting to see who he's going to roll over on because, you think of it like this, they need some good time. So, if they're going to get some good time, then they've got to have an opportunity to rat some people out in order to, one arrest leads to another arrest and to another arrest and to another arrest. And I think that this whole thing with the Fed getting absorbed into the Treasury is going to be based upon they're going to show so much crime that there will be no recourse other than for the Fed to go under the control of the Treasury with no ability to alter course whatsoever, thus eliminating the global banking system out of control here in the United States through central banking systems. Adam Schiff is a piece of shit, Laura Logan says.
You didn't recuse yourself from that matter. You were willing.
There's no reason to, from the Proud Boys matter?
Yes, it was.
Lawyer, you know the rules. There are rules that say when I have to be recused, and that's not one of them.
And there are rules. And when you're told to recuse yourself from investigations that you handle for the president, you're supposed to recuse yourself.
No, when
so
I represented the president.
You've also said, you've also refused to release Volume 2 of the Special Counsel's report. That was an investigation into the Mar-a-Lago documents case. How is that not an abundant conflict of interest? Refusing to release to the public an investigative report of an investigation into your client.
I am not a judge. A federal judge.
No.
it
The
cannot be
department's
released.
position under you, Mr. Blanche, was do not release the report.
So that position.
If you went into court asking them to release it, it would be released by now. So how is that not a patent conflict of interest?
What you're saying happens to not be true. I did not do that. What you're talking about happened before I became the Deputy
support
Attorney
the
General.
release of
No,
Line 2?
I don't, but I'm recused and had nothing to do with that case. Like, you can't accuse me of violating my ethical rules and then lie about what I did.
So
you can't lie, Adam. Your career is over, buddy. Oh, yeah. New York Times, Lorenzo Salgado Arroyo, or some Arroyo. I have no idea how to say his name. All right. Was just chasing the American dream before ICE shot him. In reality, 3 bags of meth were found inside his van. Keep romanticizing drug dealers. New York Times. Yeah. So, yeah. And then parliamentarian advises. She does not rule, says Tim Burchett.
One of the arguments you're going to hear over and over again is we've got to protect the parliamentarian. The parliamentarians' rulings have to be sacrosanct. They can't be overturned. Look, nobody's calling for the parliamentarians' rulings to be overturned. Why? Because the parliamentarian doesn't rule. She lacks that power. Only the presiding officer rules. The parliamentarian merely offers advice. The presiding officer, whether that's the Vice President of the United States, the President pro tem, or the acting President pro tem, meaning a senator from the majority party who is assigned at regular intervals to fill in the absence of the Vice President. It's the presiding officer who makes the ruling. It's then up to the Senate to either sustain or overturn that ruling. In most contexts, it takes a simple majority vote to overturn the ruling of the chair. In budget reconciliation, it takes 60 votes, so the math changes. But regardless, look, there is nothing sacred about the rule of the Senate parliamentarian. Nobody elected the Senate parliamentarian. The Senate parliamentarian occupies no constitutional post in our system of government. So don't believe those who say that you've got to protect the parliamentarian at all costs. It's not her vote that matters. She doesn't have a vote. It's the ruling of the presiding officer that matters.
You know, you typically don't get to leave your job until you get the work finished, right? We should do the same thing. We're back in DC. We need to pass the Save America Act. And if we don't, no August recess.
There you go. There you go. Yep. And then Stephen Miller.
Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. President Trump issued a directive in our parlance. It's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM, NSPM 7 to be exact, that directs for the first time in American history all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country. It's very important to understand that left-wing political terrorism seeks as its ultimate end the overthrow of our system and form of government. And we've seen this has taken place many times in many places throughout the years, and Secretary Rubio has provided you many examples. Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering. It only can travel in one direction. There's no point at which the left-wing terrorist is satisfied with his gains and ceases progressing. Inevitably, left to run its course, it always becomes a gulag. It always becomes the mass imprisonment of political enemies, the stripping of their rights and freedoms, inflicting immense pain, humiliation, suffering, in order to establish complete and total control through psychological and physical and actual terror. And we have to understand that that is the scope and the extent of the threat that we face.
Yep. No joke. No joke. Batshit Bunkers Britain. Here we go.
Breaking news here in Trump land, Trump Turnberry, the finest golf course in all of the United Kingdom, where I have 2 shows coming up tonight and tomorrow night at the Trump ballroom here, which is exactly what our family on the road deserves. First up, England out of the World Cup. Once again, we have shown that we are more afraid of losing than having the courage to fight. And I blame the Germans, Thomas Tuchel. Why we are trusting a German to win something after they lost 2 world wars is anyone's guess. In other news, Andy Burnham set to become Prime Minister of Great Britain in 4 days' time. Despite the fact he has never stood to be Prime Minister, he has never been elected by a single person to be Prime Minister, and he's never told us what he might do as Prime Minister. But he will be a Prime Minister in a black T-shirt, all of the same. Ed Miliband wants to become Chancellor, the net zero nutter. He's currently on his knees in front of Ed Miliband, doing what he needs to do to try and score the job. And finally, Pete Hegseth, over in America, the Department for War is going to start bringing in testosterone testing for the blooming American forces. And I am here for it. 1970s porn written all over that, a tool belt, no clothes and a massive cock. Either way, Pete, if you need someone to help with the testosterone testing, I am bloody well here for it. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain.
He runs all the way up to the top of the steps. And then I come back to her. I'm gonna walk up like a lady now. She is a nutcase. Oh my God. If all British people were like that, Britain could be fun. All right. Marco Rubio.
This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great. This is an international conference because we are facing a transnational threat. These are not distinct and isolated cells. They are interconnected networks. They do not recognize our borders. They do not believe, in fact, in the nation state itself. They coordinate, they communicate, they travel, they train, and they act together, sharing the same infrastructure, sharing the same enemies, sharing the same mission. Antifa militants and their comrades travel from across Europe and to the Americas to participate in each other's attacks, to funnel propaganda and training materials and target information through shared encrypted channels, moving through underground networks of safe houses and finance, and sustain their operations through transnational funds. And they work alongside hostile foreign states that share their mission, like Iranian proxy networks, who are increasingly intimately tied to leftist militant groups around the world. The Cuban regime's sprawling intelligence and ideological network helped to build the far left in our country and in our hemisphere. And it remains inextricably linked to the far left groups and movements across and beyond the West.
Yeah, interesting, huh? Yeah, Scott Dissent.
But I'm going to remind everyone in this room and all the media that I was the subject of an assassination attempt February 2024 by a addled left-wing activists 2 hours after being sworn into my job. So any of you who want to report that this is a fiction and does not exist, be there for the sentencing this August. So good morning. Thank you, Secretary Rubio, for convening this new. But I'm going to remind.
Yep. Pretty serious. Pretty serious. Yep. Just, yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I need to get to Promethean because I've got to run up to the gate and one of my neighbors is dropping me off a can of gas to hold me over, and it's going to take me a few minutes. So let me get back to, where are you? Where is it? Barbara, where are you? Oh, why didn't I just think of doing this before? Here we go. All right, here we go.
I bet you remember this nursery rhyme. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall.
I want to make sure
all the
right.
king's horses and...
That's not the right one. I'm sorry. How did I end up all the way down there? Wow. Let's see, this was... There it is. All right, Barbara.
On Tuesday, President Trump's True Social account carried two very telling posts. The first came while Iraq's new prime minister sat in his office. Here's the key part. Based on highly productive conversations with Middle East leadership, I have decided to replace the 20% United States reimbursement fee with trade and investment deals that the various Gulf states will be making in the United States. As everyone is aware, we have the largest dollar investment into the United States of any country in history. But these new investments will make that number even larger. And we will see factories, plants, and equipment pour into the United States at historic levels, which will create additional millions of high-paying American jobs. The second post was the now famous photo of Europe's coalition of the willing, sitting at Trump's desk while he schooled them on military defense. But it was doctored to show all of North America and Greenland under a U.S. flag. The Iran war is very different from the Iraq and Ukraine wars. Iran is how we used to fight necessary wars before we fell under British influence and started fighting wars of empire. I'm Barbara Boyd. I've followed the war between Trump's American system and the British globalist free traders for decades. Today, the difference between the Iran war and the Iraq war. Then, how Trump's Iran strategy mirrors General Douglas MacArthur fighting against Japan. Finally, new developments in Europe's Ukraine war and the slapdown Undersecretary of War Eldridge Colby just gave Canada's Mark Carney about that. Before we get started, hit that like button and share this video. It increases our reach on YouTube. Iran versus Iraq. They attacked the wrong country. Listen to President Trump yesterday.
If you remember, even though I was a civilian and had no thought of running for president, I get a disproportionate amount of publicity, as you probably heard. And I used to say, don't go into Iraq. Don't attack Iraq. Frankly, they attacked the wrong country. And they did a lot of damage.
Now, the president has said again and again that the Iraq regime change war was a stupid war that did huge unnecessary damage to both countries. Yesterday, he announced that U.S. troops will finally leave Iraq now that Iran no longer threatens it. Iraq was an interior war over control of Middle East oil and gas. To dominate the region, British intelligence Arabist Bernard Lewis advocated pitting the region's religions, tribes, and factions against one another in endless, forever wars. His plan came from the Roman Empire, which kept control by granting autonomy to factions who would only war with each other. Lewis's weapon was religious war, Sunni against Shia, both against Israel, all to secure the petrodollar oil and gas looting scheme run by the City of London. In 1992, after the Soviet Union fell, Lewis's protege, Paul Wolfowitz, authored a document declaring the U.S. should use this, quote, unipolar moment to dominate every region through preemptive regime change wars. One product was a document called Clean Break, a 1996 document by another Lewis protege, Richard Pearl. It said Israel should abandon land for peace and instead pursue regime change in neighboring countries for its security and a settlement with the Palestinians, starting with Iraq. The neocon think tank Project for a New American Century, filled with Lewis proteges, tried selling an Iraq war starting in 1997, but they failed until 9/11. General Wesley Clark recounts that days after 9/11, the Pentagon was already planning regime change wars against 7 Middle Eastern nations, starting with Iraq, already weakened by war with Iran and sanctions, and which had nothing to do with 9/11. Dick Cheney, widely credited with driving the Iraq War, was also a Bernard Lewis follower. So was Ahmed Chalabi, the British citizen most responsible for the lie that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. Their insane belief was that toppling Saddam Hussein would trigger democratic regime changes across all the Middle East, including Syria and Iran. If what I just said differs from what you thought you knew about the Iraq War's origins, you really should get our free newsletter at PrometheanAction.com. We show you how the people who shape your thinking control your actions. The British Empire calls it soft power, but it's the biggest power of all. Now, that's the empire's playbook laid sort of bare. Sectarian warfare, the oil sold to you as a fight for democracy. But that's not Donald Trump's playbook. His playbook is how America used to fight before the British took over our strategic thinking. Let's look at Douglas MacArthur as an example. MacArthur's strategy for war against Japan in World War II is a lot like Donald Trump's approach to Iran. Here's a description provided by Lyndon LaRouche. MacArthur fought a couple of heavy battles, or ordered a couple of heavy battles, serious ones, major ones, bloody slugfests, but he fought no unnecessary battles. He moved past islands occupied by Japanese troops and didn't attempt to get them out of there. Why waste lives taking islands? We have them isolated, we control the seas, we control the air around them. MacArthur wasn't out to kill Japanese, he was out to win the war, using America's strategic and logistical might to bring about conditions where Japan would accept peace as an alternative to war. That was the way we used to fight necessary wars. You create the conditions under which an enemy will accept a peaceful solution to the conflict. Truman's atom bombs were completely unnecessary. Japan was preparing to surrender based on MacArthur's military and economic isolation strategy. With Iran, Donald Trump has one military goal: deny Iran a nuclear weapon. These fanatics wielding nukes is a direct threat to the United States and our Middle Eastern allies. Remember, they told Trump's negotiators they had material for 11 bombs. His military actions have targeted that nuclear threat and Iran's military infrastructure with minimum civilian casualties. He sought to keep Iran's economy intact for its people's future. And by striking the real bully of the Middle East, he's triggered a remapping by nations in the region. Everyone is now lined up against Iran and favors the United States. So as of today, the IRGC is wielding its only remaining weapon: terrorism in the Strait of Hormuz, which the entire world now wants open. The president's conduct of this war is perfectly consistent with his national security strategy, which explicitly rejects imperial wars and imperial thinkers like Bernard Lewis. Here's how it starts. After the end of the Cold War, American foreign policy elites convinced themselves that permanent American domination of the entire world was in the best interests of our country. Yet the affairs of other countries are our concern only if their activities directly threaten our interests. There's also a revolutionary corollary in that document. Any foreign involvement must benefit American workers. You see that now in the Gulf states' investment pledges made in response to the war. That's a war fought to win the peace, not defeat an empire. Fought in a context where Trump has rejected the globalist order and is reasserting our economic sovereignty, building a full-set economy that provides most of what we need here. Now compare that to the war globalist elites refuse to let go of, Ukraine. It's the last stand for the old order, and it just got a very public slapdown. Now, the current Ukraine war began in 2014 when the British and the Obama administration overthrew Ukraine's duly elected government in the name of democracy. Before Putin, the British had achieved a World War I era strategic goal, conquest of Russia, looting it to the bone after the Soviet Union fell. Putin stopped that and reasserted Russia's sovereignty. So, stay-behind Nazi elements in Ukraine were deployed for a color revolution, turning Ukraine into a permanent warfare platform for regime change in Russia. To protect this, Ukrainian operatives were deployed to subvert Trump's 2016 presidential campaign and played a major role in Russiagate. Trump hasn't forgotten that, or the fake Ukraine call impeachment. Those operations are now part of the Justice Department Florida Russiagate conspiracy case. Over the weekend, Europe's coalition of the willing, as they call themselves, promised even more weapons to continue the war with Russia. And their chosen leader, globalist central banker Mark Carney, puts it this way. Middle powers like Europe should build a defensive alliance against the United States, Russia, and China, using the Ukraine buildup to save their failing economies. Recent exposés even show them thinking about fighting the United States over Greenland. Yesterday, Undersecretary of War Eldridge Colby began slapping Carney down. He wrote on X, "There's a great deal of hubbub about a collective middle power strategy these days. The simple fact of the matter is that no alternative country or countries can compete with the U.S. defense industrial base, either in quantity or quality. At the same time, American companies are at the forefront of advanced technology. There is no credible free world alternative to American tech and its implications for defense. This is not to say allies and partners should give up spending more or investing in their own defense industrial base. To the contrary, more spending will help us all, and especially our allies' own security. And we welcome allies' investment in their own defense industrial base, but in ways that are collaborative." That was a warning. Go no further. Trump's White House photo of Europe's leaders being lectured beside a map of the U.S. that includes Canada and Greenland sent the same warning, just more jovially. Trump's Golden Dome missile and drone defense requires free U.S. deployment of those systems in Greenland and Canada. It's a real defense against nuclear war, and it's well beyond anything Ukraine or Europe can produce. Our enemies call Iran a war of choice only because they gutted our economy until we couldn't take on Iran's very real nuclear threat. But a war with Russia is not a necessary war. It's a relic of British geopolitical thinking dating from World War I. So here's the picture. Iraq was empire, Iran is sovereignty. Ukraine is the empire's last war, the one Carney and his Middle Powers coalition are betting their whole globalist failing project on. Colby just told them plainly, there's no alternative to American power, no substitute for American industry. That's because we're returning to the principles of Western civilization, which they are intent on abandoning. This is a big week. Trump will be addressing the nation Thursday about election security. We need to keep these briefs going to a wider and wider audience, and for that, we need your support to grow. Please contribute as much as you can, and if you haven't already, become a paid subscriber to our newsletter. This has been your Wednesday Brief. Thanks for listening.
Please take a moment and subscribe to our free newsletter at prometheanaction.com.
Perfect timing. Absolutely perfect timing. Yeah. All right. Judge Judy. Is this where we're going? How far down did I go? Okay. Here we go.
In one of the longest sentences ever given for making false statements to federal investigators, a senior member of the Federal Reserve Board has been sentenced to 38 months in federal prison with 12 months of supervised release thereafter for his role in giving sensitive economic information to a Chinese operative. What this defendant would do is he would get Federal Reserve information and information that was classified, and he would take the classification marks off, send this stuff to his own email, and then forward this stuff to this Chinese operative. He sold out his country and other members of the Federal Reserve Board, and he hid behind a lie. And you can't hide behind the lie because he told investigators he never did it. And he lied at trial. He said he never did it. And as a result, he's gotten one of the highest sentences ever in a false statement case. And in the end, he said he owed everything to the Chinese operative. Maybe he ought to rethink that one.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah. And then here we go.
You're exactly right. This all comes back to the Dems who are telling people don't comply with ICE. ICE is not a real law enforcement agency. Here's how you evade ICE. Now, you and I talked about AOC a year ago. She says, well, I'm advising my constituents of their constitutional rights. Don't open your door. Don't comply. You see signs at these protests, resist. And this is a problem. You need to comply with law enforcement. So here's my concern. I think Mark Wayne might have been one of the reasons he wanted to look at temporary pause. I'm scared to death because assault vehicles are sky high. There's been a lot of shootings. I'm scared to death that one of these days, our ICE officers aren't going to be quick enough. The bad guys will be quicker. And I'm going to hand another folded flag to a spouse or a child. So, President Trump's clear this policy is not going away. But it all goes back to the Dems. You're exactly right. Yep. This all comes back to the Dems.
Well, yeah. And then
there was a Time story that came out yesterday that basically there are certain influencers in America who are being paid in order to attack the deal. I think some of it's just pure political ideology, right? It's foreign policy perspectives that are much different from mine. They think that America should that we can basically, you can wave a magic wand with the military and accomplish whatever you want. And, it's not that simple. You actually have to have a very clear objective. Military power can accomplish a clear objective, but you've got to have that clear objective. You can't just say, we're going to bomb until something good happens. That never works. The United States has tried that before. So I think it's a combination of things, but I definitely think you have seen this very discreet, extremely well-funded campaign to try to derail the negotiation and try to derail the deal. And, there's this Time article that came out yesterday. A friend sent it to me. It's worth reading because it lists a bunch of people who have quite literally been paid by a former Trump campaign person who was himself paid by certain elements within the Israeli government. And those people are attacking me viciously for quite literally trying to accomplish the negotiation objective that the president set for the country. So
what is their position? They're attacking you how?
Oh, it's social media posts. It's, they're leaking to reporters. They're attacking me obsessively, saying that we should not be negotiating with Iran. We should just keep the military campaign going indefinitely. And that is their explicit position. And coming after me saying that, people have come after me and say that I'm influenced by Qatar, that I'm influenced by foreign governments, that, I take my marching orders from Tucker Carlson. And there's just so much bullshit out there when what I'm actually trying to do is accomplish what the president of the United States told me to accomplish, which is a settlement of this that accomplishes our objectives. Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. We have the free flow of oil and gas. And like, I should be clear, you know, I don't actually mind. I don't mind that let's say certain elements of the Israeli government want to criticize the deal or have disagreements about the deal. I don't even mind an effort to try to influence, foreign governments try to influence the United States all the time. Israel does it, other countries do it. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. What bothers me is actually when Americans meaning American leadership, allows that influence to affect their judgment and to affect what they are advocating for. That's what really bothers me. People are always going to try to influence the United States of America, whether they're allies of ours or whether they're enemies of ours. But again, when I open up the pages of Time magazine and I see that there's a literal foreign influence campaign being funded to tank the very deal that I was pursuing, and oh, by the way, many of the people who were receiving that money were actually attacking me in completely dishonest ways, my response to that is, well, go to hell. I'm going to do what I have to do for the American people. I represent Americans first, and that's the way that I've tried to do this job.
I think so far he's doing a pretty good job of that. So I give him, the man he won't name is Brad Parscale, who ran Trump's entire digital operation in 2016. Time magazine published it 2 days ago. And it's, crazy. Let's see. Carly Bonet says, "What is going on in Massachusetts?" And this was posted 22 hours ago. So,
genuinely, what the fuck is going on in Massachusetts right now? This is no filter. This is what it looks like in Massachusetts right now. And they're like, yeah, the air quality's fine. Even though it smells like I'm standing next to a fire pit. They're saying that this is, no, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. What the actual fuck is going on?
Wildfires.
Genuinely, what the fuck?
And Massachusetts is a lot closer than, other states. So, yeah, you're getting that burning from wildfires from Canada. It's quite a bit. And then Paul Pelosi's at it again.
Those alert charges could be coming any day now for Paulie P., Nancy's husband, who smashed his Porsche drunk into a day laborer in 2022, was caught in another, this time a hit and run, over the 4th of July weekend, also in Napa, not far from the Pelosi estate. This time he wasn't in a Porsche, he was in a brown Maserati convertible. A witness says after he hit a parked Tesla, he stopped for a second, then kept going. Deputies found him down the road. His Maserati was so banged up it was undrivable. A highway patrol cruiser already parked behind him. He's got serious damage to the front passenger side. Authorities say he wasn't drunk. They breathalyzed him. Paulie blew a 0. So what's up with this guy? Smashes into somebody else's car in broad daylight, doesn't leave a note, just keeps going? Wrecks his car so badly that it breaks down, and cops find him stalled out on the side of the road. He's fresh off probation from a DUI. Now, the case is on the DA's desk. Allison Haley. Hey, Allie. Allie was the one who gave Paulie a sweetheart deal back in the day, remember? Where she knocked down what should have been a felony DUI to just a few hours of community service.
Are you sure you could complete the test? Okay. Because I really don't want you to fall over and hurt yourself. That's the last thing I'm... Right, but that defeats the whole purpose of the test, grabbing onto a patrol car. Now, I'm requesting that you take a breathalyzer test. It's not it's a voluntary test, right? But so none of the tests will pass or fail. Are you willing to do the breathalyzer test? Right. No, I understand who you are.
That case was a complete cover-up. They hid the mugshot. Paulie got special treatment. Now, sources say he could be charged by the end of the week. He's probably facing misdemeanor hit and run. He's looking at up to 6 months in county jail, $1,000 fine, probation, 2 points on his license. Now, apparently, Paulie admitted to hitting somebody, but he said he didn't know what he hit. Sure, he just kept driving. And Paulie's either blind or he's lying. Nancy, take his keys, please. He's been in multiple car crashes. One crash was so bad he flipped the sports car and killed his brother. Now, after his last DUI, the DA made him ride around with a breathalyzer wired to his ignition. And after last week's crash, authorities referred Mr. Pelosi to the DMV for a driver reevaluation. Standard procedure for elderly drivers. Paulie's 86. He qualifies. He seems to be taking it in stride.
Yeah. And then Dan Scavino says 18 USC 1001. Yeah. Jack Smith team read messages between Trump officials. Dozens of lawmakers of both parties ran roughshod over the Constitution. Yeah. Danny says that. Yeah.
I see everybody got the same script about Bedford, Maine.
3-year-old daughter in bluey pajamas.
3-year-old in the back seat in bluey pajamas.
Then 3 and was still in her bluey pajamas.
Her bluey pajamas. 3-year-old child in their bluey pajamas. His 3-year-old daughter wearing bluey pajamas.
His 3-year-old daughter wearing bluey pajamas. 3-year-old girl still in her bluey pajamas.
Bluey pajamas. 3-year-old girl in bluey pajamas. With him. And that they said couldn't be older than 3 years old, still in bluey pajamas.
This has been a Liberal Tear production, paid for by Bluey Pajama Corporation. Now, what relevance does Bluey Pajamas have to do with a 26-year-old immigrant being shot by ICE? This isn't about whether or not his daughter was with him, what he did or didn't do. This is Propaganda 101, emotional manipulation. Before I get into this, let me explain something to you all. You cannot purposely set your house on fire and complain when the fire department cannot save everyone in the house. Biden's border blunder lit this fire. Both sides have caused this disaster over years of avoiding the problem. We are all living in this nightmare, but you will never escape culpability for that. No matter how many fingers you point at the cleanup crew. Imagine blaming housekeeping for the one that made the mess. I'm going to need hard fucking facts. Here's what we know. Not a damn thing yet. It wasn't the right dude. Does that mean he didn't give him a reason? No video evidence has yet been released of the actual incident. Only the convenient aftermath. Allegedly, this is the 26-year-old man that they killed. All 4 shots were in the front of the windshield. Allegedly, there were no body cam. And if anybody has the full incident on camera, they have yet to release it or show it. There's a reason for that. The story is they tried to get the vehicle to stop. He wouldn't stop. He hit the gas. He tried to run him over. Vehicle into a weapon. He shot 4 times through the car. Now, that's their story. There's a witness that said it happened just like they described. Look, it'll all come out and time will tell. Until that moment, I want to talk about this bluey pajama bullshit. One time the left will cry and moan is when a criminal dies. I've never seen nothing debated. Will never stand up for anything that happens to American citizens, unless it involves law enforcement or ICE agents. It's the motherfucking equivalent of bluey pajamas. Miss Sherelle Thompson getting mowed down by 6 teenage illegal immigrants. She worked 2 jobs, going to a friend's house, and they shot her in the head. Ages 13 to 21. She had 2 daughters. Do you think her kids was in fucking bluey pajamas when their family had to tell them that? Crickets from BLM. What about Camilla Williams, a 52-year-old grandmother, mother of 5, strangled to death in her own home? What's the fucking bluey pajama equivalent to get you to talk about her? The fuck do you think Rachel Marine's kids were wearing the morning they had to tell them they found their mother in a park, raped and murdered, beat to death with a rock, hit in the head 15, 20 times, smashed like an egg? You think her 5 kids were wearing bluey pajamas that morning? What is your bluey pajama fucking equivalent of emotional manipulation to get you to talk about her? I need to know. Jocelyn Nungry was a 12-year-old girl. Are these candles an equivalent to your bluey pajama shit? She'll never have another one lit. When 2 illegal immigrants tied her up and raped her and threw her in a river. What is your bluey pajama equivalent? Do you know how many lives Laken Riley could have saved as a nurse? Do you think her kids didn't need a chance to grow up wearing bluey fucking pajamas? I am so sick of you all. This girl gave this bastard everything she had. Fought him for 17 minutes, but he still bashed her head in with a rock and raped her and killed her. Shut the fuck up about bluey pajamas. Elizabeth Medina was a 16-year-old cheerleader taking a bath, and they came in and cut her fucking throat, stabbed her to death. Her mother found her in the fucking bathtub. The equivalent of bluey pajamas here. They don't even know how Megan Bose died. They found her 2 months later decomposing in a garbage can in this man's backyard. There wasn't even enough of her body left to figure out what happened to her before she died. His story, she came to his house. She passed away there. So instead of calling the cops, he chops her head off, throws her in a garbage barrel, lets her decompose for 2 months in his house while pouring corrosive chemicals on her body. I don't even think he got charged with her murder because they couldn't prove it. Miles Young is a 15-year-old boy who was tricked to go out with some people to meet a girl. Some type of initiation shit. Where this dude killed him, shot him in the chest, and called a friend and bragged about it. Miles's last words was, "I don't want to die. Please don't shoot me. I just don't want to die." But he killed him anyway. Would you have cared if he was wearing pajamas? Darian and Michael Lee, 12 and 9 years old, illegal out drinking and driving, veered off the road, ran two boys over on their bicycles, mowed them down. Stephanie was waiting at a bus stop, stabbed her multiple times, killed the shit out of her. Sheridan Gorman was a college student, walking home at night. This man chased her down and killed her. He was already removed twice before this. What is your equivalent of bluey pajamas for these people? This one killed a 15-year-old boy in Kentucky because he was trying to rape his mama. The boy died trying to save his mom and his sister. There may be blood on ICE's hands, but you will never escape the blood on yours. There are hundreds of these cases in the past couple of years. How many people has ICE killed unjustifiably? From my research, I can count on one hand. They enter highly questionable territory. And yes, those people matter too, but you're never outraged by the other thing. What do I have to say to get you to fucking care? I'm not gonna listen to your bullshit that Americans commit crimes too. You can't deport American citizens, but you can deport illegal. You can't take amendment rights from American citizens, but you can't secure our border and deport illegal immigrants. There is a legal pathway to come here, vetted and safe. I tell you one damn thing. When y'all get inducted to the Angel family, you'll be singing a different tune. Problem is, nobody will hear you. These are preventable deaths. Do you get that? Look, I will level with you. If they find out this man didn't do nothing wrong, then yes, the officers need consequences. If there is video showing they just murdered him, no rhyme or reason, then I will stand with you. We can't have lawlessness in this country, not even from the law. If you're on the right and you don't like that, argue with the wall. I don't care. This ain't the Wild Wild West. We're trying to prevent that. But I am long past tired of y'all's bullshit. Crying every time something goes wrong with ICE. When the Biden border blunder that you support, that millions of unchecked, unvetted illegal immigrants into this country. 2 million got away. Tens of thousands of murderers, rapists, criminals, convicted. Sometimes when you're fishing for piranhas, you're going to catch a few trout. That is a fucking harsh reality. Tired of y'all being outraged about one thing and not the other. Because it'll make your party look bad. Well, you know what? The situation is bad. If you've got another fucking solution besides leaving the piranhas in the pond or waiting for them to eat the other fucking fish, then I am all ears. We have to have ICE. There's no way around it. We can't control every crime. At this point, we don't even know who the fuck they are. That's how many people you let in here unvetted. These individuals had a chance to leave paid for. Do you know who ain't never died at the hands of ICE? People that self-deported. Maybe we can come together. You want unity? Here's how you get it. Own your fucking fuck up.
I have to say to you, that was a lot. That was a lot. That was a lot. So, all right, I want to get back up to where we were before. Now that I've covered that one, we covered that one, we covered that one, we covered that one, and I think this is where we
All right, welcome back. The Democratic Socialists just unveiled a sweeping new policy agenda. It calls for a dramatic overhaul of all three branches of the government. They say, on the plus side, you probably never have to pay a bill again. Take a listen.
You're able to take a day off and not have to worry. And you don't have to have a job just to pay the bills because you don't have a lot of bills, right? Bills are no longer a thing because there's not for-profit businesses that are constantly trying to exploit you and trying to, put.
I feel like I'm on repeat. We just heard her not too long ago. All right, let's continue. All right, here we go.
On behalf of the United States Treasury, let there be no uncertainty about the work before us and the resolve with which we will undertake it. We will identify illicit funding, however artfully it is concealed. We will dismantle the networks that sustain political terrorism, however respectable their fronts may be. We will pursue those who enable political violence, however distant their jurisdictions, and we will deepen our collaboration with every nation represented in this room for as long as this work requires. On behalf of the United States.
Yeah. So the illicit funding going to NGOs and global financial systems are coming to an end. Yep. So,
My name is Jennifer Boss. I live in Antioch, Illinois. I'm the mother of an angel named Megan Boss, and I'm here because my daughter's tragic and gruesome death has exposed catastrophic failures in immigration enforcement and drug trafficking policies. The investigation into her death continues, but one truth is painfully clear. Dangerous gaps in our system allowed an illegal alien to exploit our laws, and my daughter paid the ultimate price. Losing Megan and then being forced to navigate multiple broken systems while drowning in grief taught me that policies carrying life or death consequences cannot remain political talking points. That's why I've tried, despite the most intense heartache anyone can ever experience, to speak locally and nationally about the four crises that compounded our tragedy: illegal immigration, sanctuary policies, the fentanyl crisis, and cashless bail. I'm so grateful that the whole of this administration, with Todd Blanche leading the DOJ, has prioritized all four of these issues. I'm asking the committee not to wait until another mother is sitting where I am. Confirm Todd Blanche. He is a leader who will uphold the law, honor victims, confront dangerous criminal organizations, and fight to give other American families the safety and lasting protection that came too late for mine. I couldn't save my daughter, but Todd Blanche is Attorney General. He might save yours, because next time it could be your child. It could be your family. It could.
I'm going to go ahead and stop that there, but this is at, Todd Blanche's nomination to U.S. Attorney General fully instead of as a interim. I couldn't save my daughter, but Todd Blanche as Attorney General, he might save yours. That's where her statement is leading to. And then we got this idiot here. This is in regards to the guy that he pardoned that Trump deported.
Did that make us any safer? Did that make the children that are left behind any more stable? Did it improve the idea that we can't all be judged by our worst day? And I want to be very clear, these are horrific crimes. They often are. Yeah, but it's supposed to be okay. It's supposed to be okay. And that was Lou Vang, who Walls pardoned. Gave a pardon to, and then here is a Trump speaking.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making time. I really
Absolutely
appreciate it. Yeah. If I could ask you, this is there have been threats on your life from Iran. This is the first appearance outside the White House since the NATO summit. Do you feel safe making appearances like this?
I don't even think about it, because if I do, I wouldn't be very effective. So I don't even think about it. Certainly other people do, and I think they're doing a good job doing that, but I don't even think about it.
So the Defense Production Act.
Yeah, interesting, huh? That's the first question that comes out, during that. So in her last ever live interview, just 4 hours before she was murdered, Ann Whitcomb warned of a hidden establishment operating behind the scenes.
In her last ever live interview, just 4 hours before she was murdered, Ann Widdecombe warned of a hidden establishment operating behind the scenes of UK politics.
I've got very little trust left now in parliamentary processes. And if you look at this government, which has a majority on that committee, if you look at this government, look at the way that it's reacted when it's felt vulnerable, changes to political donations, cancelling local elections, we all remember that, going for votes at 16, loosening the voter ID requirements, you just name it. I mean, they react in such a way that is geared all around self-preservation now. Nigel is challenging that establishment, and he's called this the establishment versus the people, and I think that just about sums it up.
Does this establishment of which you and Nigel speak actually exist?
Yes, I believe it does. Now, I didn't always believe in that theory, but I do think now that different parts of the establishment act in ways which I think are extremely questionable. We saw it in the banking scandal. And suddenly you realise and just Nigel, a load of other people as well who didn't have the ability to publicise and fight it. So, yes, I think the establishment is there in that sense, yes.
In her last...
So just 4 hours before she was killed, she says it. Yeah, it's some people, including former UK Prime Minister Liz Truss, have referred to this hidden establishment as the deep state. Yeah. And then, let's see, let's get on up here. Former Democrat representative and current congressional candidate Cori Bush is now under investigation. Yeah.
For politivism.
She really does use that word a lot. A leadership PAC, an action PAC, and now Politivist Power Inc., which Bush called in her own fundraising emails a 501c4, a nonprofit, not political. Except the records show money going from that nonprofit into the PAC that pays her and her husband. And one of those nonprofit emails asked people to, quote, donate to our tornado fund. The campaign stopped Monday morning. I repeated questions we already sent her campaign in writing 6 days earlier. How much did you take in and where did it go?
You know what? You have been told multiple times that is a PAC that I cannot speak to as a candidate.
Her fundraising emails include this disclaimer telling donors the PAC and the nonprofit are not affiliated. I'm sorry for the confusion. This was not about the PAC. This was actually about the C. You called it a 501c4 in emails and said it was a charity. I cannot speak to. I can speak to what I just did. That's what I can speak to. Just to clarify, this question is about Politivist Power Inc.
Mr. Maxwell, you have been instructed already.
So we moved on. 10 minutes and several questions later, I tried again for an answer. Bush's campaign manager, Stephanie Rose Spalding, whose name also appears on the PAC payroll, shut it down. Congressman, can you please clarify?
Can we have a question from someone who has not asked the question?
Here's the part that might surprise you. A lot of this is probably legal. We took it all to someone who does this for a living.
One of the biggest issues with 501c4 nonprofits, which are not technically supposed to exist for political purposes, they don't have to disclose their donors. They don't have to disclose much spending.
So when Bush says this,
and we'll do it with no dirty money.
Important to note, part of her own money trail hits a wall, and not by accident. That's how these groups are built to work.
What it ultimately means is the money is going to a 501c4 nonprofit that is not legally required to disclose its donors to the Federal Election Commission.
And yes, we've dug into the outside money helping Wesley Bell too, and we've reported it. The difference now is that Bell's donors are public. This trail is not. The candidate who runs on honesty,
shouldn't you be able to run on the truth?
Still owes this district some answers about the web of committees she controls and where the money lands. We did send the questions once more in writing after the event today. Tonight, the campaign says it's still not really sure what we're asking and that, hey, we're already past the deadline. All right, fine. Here's the short list of what we still don't know. How much she raised on that tornado fund, she won't tell us. How much reached actual relief for tornado victims? There's no paperwork that we've seen yet. Who the donors are, the law doesn't make her tell us that part. And what she's doing in that role with that group now that she's running for Congress, no answer on that part.
Interesting. All right. Let's see. We covered that. All right. So here we go.
This is flat out bull that anybody even has to put up with this at work, much less get fired for doing nothing other than calling their coworker by their government name. I got fired for the first time today from Chili's for doing the high crime of calling my coworker, whose name is Madeline, by her name, which is Madeline, and not referring to her as her chosen name, which is Fish.
All right, so that's our next guest who claims he was fired by the Chili's that he worked for in Louisiana for calling a coworker by her real name, which is Madeline, instead of the name that she identifies with, which is Fish. Wesley Ford is with us. Wesley, appreciate you being here. This is the video of you getting fired. We have that. Take us through what happened.
So, like any other morning, I tell all my coworkers good morning. And she walked in. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning. We had just opened, and I said, "Good morning, Madeline." And then in the restaurant business, you know, you have to squeeze in tight spots sometimes. And so, like, whenever you're walking behind somebody, you'll say, like, "On your back," so and so, to let them know that you're behind them. And so I said, "On your back, Madeline." And then that was it. She went to the office, and then they sent her home. And then I went into the office and asked what the deal was, and they told me that they were going to terminate me.
All right, and this was
so
probably a
that's
thing.
whenever I started reporting.
Were you calling her Fish like a lot? Like this wasn't the first time? Or you're calling her Madeline? Sorry, not Fish, a lot?
No, that day was the first day that I ever called her Madeline, and I only called her Madeline like 3 or 4 times, maybe. It all happened in about 5 minutes.
And you're a waiter, and she was a waitress?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Why does Madeline want to be called Fish?
She told me that she was non-binary,
But she's a human female, right? She's a biological female, not a fish. She doesn't have gills, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's the statement that we got from Chili's today. This is a quote. I think you're hearing this for the first time. While we normally do not comment on people-related matters, we believe it's important to clarify the actions taken in this situation. The individual was terminated due to repeated instances of harassment toward his fellow team member, which is in violation of our policies. To the point the team member was unable to continue the shift. The terminated individual was repeatedly asked to stop the harassing behavior, but he refused. How do you respond to that?
You're right. That was my first time seeing that statement. And that is absolutely false. I have never harassed her. I have never even been talked to about harassing anyone until that day. That is totally false. That is not true at all.
Chili's says you violated their inclusion policy in that you were harassing your coworker repeatedly. And you say that's not accurate. It just was that day you called her by her name and not Fish?
Correct. That's right.
If they offered you the job back, would you go back to Chili's?
Absolutely not.
No. Have you contacted an attorney about this?
I have, yes.
And do you plan on moving forward with that?
Yes.
All right. Wesley, will you keep us posted?
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Have you heard from Fish? Has she reached out?
She has not.
Okay. And does everybody else call her Fish?
From what I saw on social media, there are a lot of people on her Facebook that call her Madeline. But
Fish like a fish or Fish like the band?
Fish.
Okay. And they serve fish tacos at Chili's, right?
Used to, not anymore.
Okay, they took those off the menu. I hope they did.
They did.
All right, Wesley Ford, we appreciate you being here. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
This poor guy lost his job because he wouldn't call Madeline Fish. Madeline, you poor wretch of a soul. Yeah. Caroline Levitt's back.
First, let me address what's happening in the Strait right now. We know that there is a blockade of ships directed by the president for ships entering and departing Iranian ports only. This has been fully implemented and is in full force. This blockade was reimposed due to Iran's inability to honor their agreement with the United States of America. More than 10,000 U.S. sailors, Marines, and airmen, along with 2 aircraft carriers and more than 20 warships and dozens of aircraft, are executing the blockade mission as we speak. And during the first 24 hours of the blockade, U.S. CENTCOM has redirected 2 compliant commercial vessels and disabled 1 non-compliant vessel. So look, the Strait is open for ships that are not traveling to and from Iranian ports specifically, and the U.S. Navy is there to ensure that can take place. First, let me address what's happening in the Strait right now.
Yeah. So there's that one, and there's more coming. There's more coming.
Likewise, to the degree that this speech tonight is about elections past, not elections upcoming, the 2020 election has had dozens of recounts, lawsuits, audits. 2024 election widely believed to be safe and secure. There's not really any question about that. A lot of people
Because
look at
it was
this.
too big to rig.
Well, I think a lot of people look at this
It's a
and
massive
wonder,
amount of votes for this president. That's why he's in the Oval Office right now.
no one disputes that. And there were a significant amount of votes for Joe Biden, who won in 2020. I mean, the question is, why is the president unable to let this go?
Well, first of all, Garrett, I think part of the problem is that the media has refused to acknowledge that tens of millions of Americans across the country share the concerns of this president about the sanctity of our elections. And your premise of your question, you're jumping ahead to a conclusion in this speech before even hearing it yourself. I think that everyone should tune in tonight, including the people in this room, and you should report on the president's speech and the findings that he is going to reveal in this speech with a little bit of honesty and a little bit of integrity, because it will shock you if you have an honest eye listening to the president tonight, and everything he is saying will be backed by facts and by evidence that will be provided this evening. And again, Garrett, I think all Americans, Democrat, Republican, should agree that we are the greatest country in the history of the world. We should have the safest and most secure elections in the history of the world. And what the president will be speaking about tonight will show you that perhaps that is not the case, and we need to make some adjustments moving forward, including the Save America Act, as Rachel pointed out, is a key legislative priority for this president on Capitol Hill, and he wants to see all senators and members of Congress voting in favor of the Save America Act, because it's crucially important as we move forward. Aisha.
Hi, Caroline. Welcome back.
Thank you.
The pink is for your.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And there was another one. So let me hit this one here.
I would encourage everyone to tune in tonight. I've seen a lot of reporting and frankly misreporting about what the president will say. I think the American people will be relieved to hear what they are hearing from the president of the United States and his commitment to transparency and the focus on the integrity of our elections tonight. I think all Republicans and Democrats should recognize this should be a nonpartisan issue. If we don't have safe and secure elections in our country, we cannot have a country. It is a vital part of our democracy, of our constitutional republic. The president will be speaking about that tonight. And in addition, at the very same time, of course, he is working on all of these economic issues that the American people have at home. I just read to you the latest inflation numbers are looking good, the best report in 6 years. The president, Republicans and Democrats and all Americans have this president to thank for the largest tax cuts in American history, which every Democrat on Capitol Hill voted against. You have this president to thank for the Trump accounts for our children and securing the future of the American dream. So this president is doing a lot, but obviously safe and secure elections are a true tenet of our constitutional republic, and the president will be speaking about that tonight.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Likewise.
We'll see what's happening. LA water main break turns streets into the rivers.
Now with a Fox News alert, and you are looking live at a massive water main break in West Hollywood, Los Angeles. The major flooding, just look at that, turning roads into rivers. Los Angeles County Fire is on the scene. Multiple streets were closed down, including major roadways like Santa Monica Boulevard and Sunset Boulevard. An investigation into this incident is ongoing, but not something you see every day in California, especially right before rush hour traffic is set to begin. Guys, over to you.
Again.
All those businesses are going to be damaged. Thank you so much, Carly.
All these
Kai Trump
businesses are
might
gonna
be the
damaged. Spencer Pratt says, look at the bright side. At least this is one day where you won't have to smell human pee on the sidewalks. Yeah. Yeah, you won't have to smell it. Yeah. And then here's Josh Hawley this morning. I was watching part of this.
American worshipers at a Bible study in Charleston, South Carolina, 2015. Do you remember this case?
I do remember it very well.
I would hope you did. Here's his victims. You want to look at them? There they are. 9 of them at a Bible study in a church, killed in cold blood. The DOJ knew from day one that he had decided, I'm going to quote from the prosecutors, decided to attack African Americans because of their race. He further decided to attack African American worshipers in a black church in order to make his attack more notorious. More notorious. And yet you recommended that he be granted clemency, live at the expense of taxpayers for the rest of his life, substitute your judgment for that of the American judicial system. Do you stand by that recommendation today?
Sir, I'm not going to comment on the recommendations that I made, but I can tell you that Mr. Roof is going to die in prison as.
Oh, he's going to live in prison for a very long time because of you, because of your recommendations. And here's what you said in your memo of October 30th, 2024. You said that actually Roof is not a compelling candidate for clemency, but you recommended it anyway. Why? Because he suffered from anxiety, you said. Right? He suffered from anxiety. Did it ever occur to you that maybe the family of his victims might suffer a little bit of anxiety because he marched into their church and murdered them in cold blood because he was an incredible racist and he wanted to get on TV?
Sir.
Do you regret it?
I'm not going to comment on the
Do
recommendations
you regret it?
that I made to the president.
Let's talk about Robert Bowers, a man who regularly spews such vile hatred of Jews. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. He barged into a Pittsburgh synagogue in 2018 and he shot everybody he could find, killing 11 innocent people who were there to worship. A federal jury in Pittsburgh unanimously recommended the death sentence after finding him guilty on 63 counts. Here they are. They're his victims. Take a good look. You recommended clemency for this person who went in and killed these people just because they're Jews. The other guy killed people just because they're black. This guy killed people just because they're Jews. A jury recommended that he be sentenced to death, and you substituted your judgment for theirs, and now he's going to live. Are you proud of that?
Sir, what I am proud of is the fact that I took my job as pardon attorney extremely seriously.
Apparently not seriously enough. You certainly didn't take the victims seriously. Then there's Jorge Avila Torres, who wasn't just a murderer. He was a serial killer and a rapist.
Sir,
Here is who he assaulted and killed. He sexually assaulted and killed 8-year-old Laura Hobbs and 9-year-old Crystal Tobias in a Chicago suburb in 2005. And then 4 years after that, he committed another murder. He slaughtered a fellow service member, Navy Petty Officer Amanda Snell, in 2009 while she was in her barracks. That's what he did. And you recommended clemency for this individual, and now he'll live his life at the expense of taxpayers because you substituted your judgment for that of the American judicial system, jury, judges, the whole lot, and yet you're here to tell us that you're somehow a victim? I don't think so, Ms. Oyer. I think your judgment is astoundingly terrible. I'm amazed that this side of the aisle has called you, and I just ask my friends on this side of the aisle, do you agree with this? Is this what you want? Do you want these people to be pardoned and live at the expense of taxpayers for their whole lives? Do you want to excuse the murders of African-American churchgoers? Do you want to excuse the murders of Jews in their synagogues? Do you want to excuse the murders of these children?
Yeah.
I would encourage everyone to tune into.
For decades, foreign students have been admitted into the U.S. for an unspecified period of time, enabling thousands to abuse the system and become forever students by perpetually enrolling in courses to avoid leaving our nation. By implementing clear, finite limits on these visas, the United States is reclaiming its ability to properly screen, vet, and monitor individuals within our borders. So they're capped to 4 years. They get 4 years of education and then gone. See you later. Go back to your country and fix it. All right. Then we got.
All right. The Trump administration is confronting a problem it says has gone unanswered for too long. The resurgence of far left terrorism. Foreign Affairs correspondent Alex Salvi is at the State Department, where nations are attempting to coordinate a united front to tackle the issue.
Representatives from over 65 countries are gathering here at the State Department to tackle an issue that they say is only increasing across the globe. The department says that far-left terror groups are carrying out a deliberate and motivated strategy to use violence to achieve political ends. The event is intended to formulate a joint response, hoping to reinforce frontline defenses and close the gaps that are being exploited. A senior State Department official telling me that recent events around the globe are only exacerbating the problem, with some groups uniting behind shared grievances to carry out acts of violence against individuals or critical infrastructure. Last year, the United States labeled 4 far-left groups in Europe as foreign terrorist organizations and has since built on cooperation with partners over recent months. But the issue isn't entirely foreign. President Trump last year designating the group Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization.
Yeah. So it's increasing. The pressure is, and then we got this.
For making money off of reading the president's speech. Obviously, I'm aware of the report. The president is too. I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in that report is complying with the CFTC, but has been put on paid administrative leave. So there will be a teleprompter operator tonight, of course, but it will not be the one, unfortunately, in that story.
More on Iran. The vice president, J.D. Vance, for making money.
So it was basically President Trump has placed his speech teleprompt operator on leave without pay while they're being investigated for making allegedly $90,000 on Kalshi by betting on Trump's speeches. Yeah, interesting. And then there's that Canadian girl who's now going home. Yeah. She was wearing an American 250 shirt and blue shorts. It's yeah. So, yeah. President Trump's administration is reviving a policy that blocks green cards for migrants who leech off public taxpayer welfare like SNAP or public housing funds. Here we go.
Enormous change in U.S. immigration policy tonight. The Trump administration says any non-citizens in the country who have applied for a green card must leave the country indefinitely, even if here legally, and regardless of whether they have a spouse or children. Then they have to wait for their green card application to be processed outside of the country. We'll follow up on that. Meantime, Americans serve enormous change.
Yeah. So, yep. Fill out the paperwork. Get your ass on a plane, go home, and wait for a response. Wall Street Bape says voting data reveals Muslims came out to vote in very high percentages near mosques and got their mayor candidate elected in Frisco, Texas.
We had an election in Frisco, which is, a Texas town. It's one of our big Texas towns. And what we saw happen was that the candidate that many of the Christians were pushing for did not get elected. And what we found through looking at the numbers was that the candidate that did win won because a majority of the Muslim Hindu precincts, a high percentage of folks voted in those precincts. In fact, 2 of the polling locations by mosques had the highest turnout of voters.
The fact that there is large Muslim voter turnout around mosques is not a coincidence. It's being funded from overseas. It's being engineered and orchestrated. Here's a post that goes over this exact thing. It shows that mosques are actively polling and they're acting as voting sites. Here is a video that goes over exactly what's going on.
Texas, rare exposure yesterday. Voting and polling stations are now operating inside mosques across the state. This isn't random. It's a deliberate strategy with CARE leading the charge. CARE Austin openly celebrated on September 17, 2024, when the Islamic Center of Brushy Creek became the county's first Muslim polling site. They applauded it as a win and highlighted their hands-on role. No wonder Democrats are shattering previous non-presidential early voting records in Texas's March 2026 primary. These aren't organic voters. This is engineered. Since 2017, billions of Texas taxpayer dollars have quietly poured into Islamic causes, organizations, and projects right here in Texas. Your money, my money. Our money is building mosques, communities, and political influence that is colonizing the state. We are funding our own demise. Over 300 mosques now dot Texas, and CARE's Nahad Awad boasts over 4,000 nationwide, calling them his infrastructure.
We have 4,000 mosques in America.
4,000 mosques. That is the largest infrastructure of social organizations, non-profit organizations. The bulk of the Muslim community's life is in the mosques.
I mean, it doesn't get more clear than that. This is their network. This is what they're doing. They're taking over their local governments. Ban voting in these Muslim neighborhoods is actually the solution. These people should not be voting in our elections.
Yep. They should not be. Not one bit. Then, I'm going to hold off on that one. And then, oh.
Do you think that when someone is killed at the hands of an illegal alien, that their representation in Congress, senator, congressman, should meet with that family?
Absolutely. Of course.
It's my understanding that there are many angel families that cannot get meetings with their senators. Have you heard that?
Absolutely. It happens all the time. As a matter of fact, the lovely and kind words from Senator Durbin, I am his constituent. This is the first time I've ever spoken with him. I haven't spoken with him. He spoke to me.
Do you?
Yeah. Child's been dead for a couple years now, and Durbin hasn't taken a moment.
To me, there's more holes in this story than a fishing net. And I do believe, for all of the critique of social media and for everybody saying, social media is a poisonous, terrible place, which it has been. And maybe we'll come on to the vitriol about this as well. Yeah. But also, I think without the pressure of social media and people saying, come on, this isn't right. You're telling us that a Corsa in Rotherham that hasn't moved for days has suddenly done 7 hours traveling in one day with a man that doesn't travel anywhere and a car that had weeds growing out of it. Are you serious? So that was whole number one.
And he has special needs, apparently.
Yeah, learning difficulties. Yeah. But somehow the footage of him putting his wheelie bin out is really significant to the investigation. The fact that white British national was put out immediately, a 26-year-old who I believe is a delivery driver, who was arrested. And, we've got nothing to worry about. The public have. Then he was released. But don't worry, because the public have got nothing to worry about. This isn't a terrorist threat. It's not politically motivated. What? How the heck do you know that? They didn't know that. They were putting out fake information, false information, misinformation, and then telling people not to speculate. Well, clearly, people have been speculating and people have been noticing that there's one hole after another, after another, after another. And I think the pressure from people on places like X and social media who have seen the holes, quite clearly seen the holes, are now pushing back. And I desperately hope, it smacks to me of, it smacks to me of a lot of things. It smacks to me of Jill Dando. It smacks to me of a cover-up. The word patsy's been mentioned quite a few times on social media.
Yeah. Just saying, there's definitely something going on here. So, let's see. All right. Let's see. I want to go to White House. Let's see. Does it give the schedule as to what time? Not seeing a time. I'm not sure what time. I'm not sure what time he's supposed to speak tonight. But if I shut down now and then come back on when he comes on, yeah, I can save some fuel for a while, and yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'm not seeing anything in regards to what time it is, so I'll find out. I'll find out what time it's going to be, and go from there. We'll see. We'll see. 9 p.m. So if it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, it'll be 6 p.m. my time. Yeah, as long as it's not too long of a not as long as it's not too long of a speech, then yeah, I won't have a problem with it. If we're going to be more than 2 hours, yeah, because I'm turning on the generator to do the podcast. Well, for about an hour beforehand, I look for stuff, and then when I get done with you guys, then I'll shut down and then turn it back on later to do that. So pretty much running off the battery right now on the other stuff. So we'll get caught up one of these days. In the meantime, remember, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and I love you. And until I see you again, keep your head on a swivel.
Woke up this morning to a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls of wire. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stand. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world may change, but love remains, and that's how we survive. Keep your head